Hello there and good morning. Container ships are being turned away from Felixstowe and there'll be gaps on Christmas shelves, we're told. But this isn't Brexit, this is a global problem. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. The UK's largest container port, Felixstowe, on the English east coast in Suffolk, has a shipping container problem. And that problem is forcing shipping companies to turn their very large container carriers away from Felixstowe to ports in Europe where their cargoes can be disgorged and then be transferred to smaller vessels that can get into smaller UK ports. And the container problem that Felixstowe has is that it already has too many of them and nowhere to put any more. But it's not just the UK. In the US, for example, it's got so bad they're calling it ContainerGeddon. And unloading times are increasing as time goes on, keeping ships stuck outside ports for ever longer periods. The Times reports that last month 60 container ships were stuck outside Los Angeles and Long Beach on the US West Coast. And MSN.com reports, last week, officials say there could be as many as 500,000 shipping containers on cargo ships off the ports of LA and Long Beach, waiting to be offloaded. The bottleneck is due partly to the shortage of warehouse workers and truck drivers to pick up goods. No labour, no truck drivers, must be Brexit then. And this is having adverse effects on US businesses as they wait for the new stock they've ordered so they can sell it on before Christmas. But while anti-Brexiteers might smirk at the Felixstowe story, they're missing the bigger picture. This is a global problem and there have been reports for months about container shipping problems. And here's what Payments.com reported back in March. The network cited problems that begin in China on factory loading docks, extend to Chinese ports where buying slots aboard ships for US-bound containers has become difficult, reach then to ships stuck off the US West Coast because ports can't keep up with demand for offloading, and finally involve US surface transporters such as railways that are unable to haul the volume being asked of them. On the US East Coast, the New York Times reported a couple of days ago that, like toy blocks hurled from the heavens, nearly 80,000 shipping containers are stacked in various configurations at the port of Savannah, 50% more than usual. The steel boxes are waiting for ships to carry them to their final destination, or for trucks to haul them to warehouses that are themselves stuffed to the rafters. Some 700 containers have been left at the port on the banks of the Savannah River by their owners for a month or more. And all these delays add cost by the day. Costs that are driving businesses into the red and costs that will have to be recouped later with higher transport fees. And already container rates are going through the roof. ICIS.com reported last month that a 40-foot container route that cost $4,500 last year now costs upwards of $20,000, and also said that container freight rates continue to rise, and despite efforts by global shipping competition agencies and a commitment to freeze rates by some carriers, some players think that prices are unlikely to return to normal until the middle of next year, if ever. Seems that Brexit has a worldwide reach, doesn't it? But as the world locked down for COVID, we all sat at home and kept ordering stuff, expecting someone else to make it and someone else to deliver it. The problem being that locking half of the industrial world down and expecting the whole global just-in-time supply chain to work while missing some very large cogs was probably just a tad on the fanciful side. and now there are full and empty containers beginning to clog the main parts of the world's transport arteries. So now that we're diverting containers from UK ports to EU ports, what's going to happen if EU ports are not able to handle all that extra traffic? What if their ports start clogging up too? Anyway, we've ended up with a global problem where containers full of goods are being held up on ships, delaying their delivery to the final customer, with huge ramifications for businesses large and small. And there is also the reverse problem of not being able to fill empty containers and get them shipped out. There are reports from around the world that both full and empty containers are lying idle for months. And all this may well be a huge driver behind the problems that Germany is facing right now. But before I get into that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. So what's this about problems in Germany right now? Surely Europe's largest economy, sat snugly in the centre of the perfect European Union with its squid-like tentacles controlling the bloc, is secure from all such nonsense. Well, not exactly. According to a New York Times report from last week, in Germany, where 1 in 4 jobs depends on exports, the crisis gumming up the world's supply chains is weighing heavily on the economy, which is Europe's largest and a linchpin in global commerce. And the experts are saying that a bottleneck recession is on the way for them. The problem being that with the world's supply chains all clogged up, the flow of raw materials into Germany is slowing. And the German economy needs those raw materials to make the stuff that its export-driven economy needs. Without those raw materials coming in, they have nothing to make and nothing to export, so obviously stemming the flow of euros into their businesses. And even last month, Euronews.com was reporting that German business morale was falling in the face of this bottleneck recession. And going back to the New York Times report, it lays out the depth of the problem that German manufacturing faces. Almost everything that German factories need to operate is in short supply, not just computer chips, but also plywood, copper, aluminium, plastics, and raw materials like cobalt, lithium, nickel, and graphite, which are crucial ingredients of electric car batteries. So no one's immune from this container crunch. But humans are a resilient lot, and things will get back to some sort of normality, but that might well take months. And it won't be the old normal. It will be a new normal of higher prices, due not just to higher transport costs, but also to more stockpiling by companies, future-proofing themselves against a repeat of this. And Ramonas can't keep blaming everything on Brexit. So what's your opinion on ContainerGeddon? Please like and comment below.